There are places your body cannot go, but your soul can. Voices that do not echo in this world, but speak clearly beyond the veil. Since the dawn of civilization, humans have stared into the unknown with one burning question: can we truly speak with spirits? Not through superstition or stage tricks, but through real, conscious, intentional contact. Welcome, seeker. Tonight, we cross a threshold most dare not approach. This is not merely a discussion about ghosts or folklore. This is a journey into astral communication, a sacred dialogue between the living and the unseen, a path once walked by mystics, shamans, and secret orders, now reawakened in your own time. In this video, we'll unveil the first true steps to initiate this connection, drawing from ancient techniques, obscure texts, and practices that once flourished in secret schools beneath the stars. We'll trace the whispers left by the Egyptian priesthood, explore the veiled knowledge preserved in Tibetan bone rituals, and decode how spiritual adepts from long-lost cultures bridged the realms between life and death. But understand this: what you're about to hear is not entertainment. It's initiation. You'll learn why your dreams feel so vivid at 3:33 a.m., why certain symbols reappear when you're alone in silence, and why the spirit world, once dismissed as fiction, may in fact be the original reality. And if you're ready, not just to listen, but to open your mind beyond matter, then follow. For the veil is thinner than you think. First steps in astral communication with spirits. Discover ancient techniques used by mystics to speak with entities beyond the veil of death. To speak with spirits is not a modern curiosity. It is the oldest dialogue of humanity. Long before the rise of organized religion or rational science, there were temples built not to honor the gods, but to meet them. In ancient Kemet, now known as Egypt, the priesthood practiced Sekhem, a spiritual science that aligned soul, sound, and star. These initiates, robed in silence and shadow, believed that certain tones intoned with breath, heart, and will could pierce the veil and summon the Ka, or spiritual double, of the deceased. Across the world in the Himalayas, the bone shamans of pre-Buddhist Tibet mapped the astral planes in detail that rivals any modern cosmology. They spoke of the bardo, a liminal realm where spirits wander between incarnations. In their secret rites, they trained to consciously enter this space not in death, but in trance. Even Pythagoras, often remembered for his mathematical theorems, was part of an esoteric brotherhood that used dream incubation and harmonic frequencies to commune with ethereal beings. He claimed that the soul, when unburdened by the senses, could remember the music of the spheres, a code embedded in reality itself. These ancient adepts did not see the spiritual world as a separate place. To them, matter was a veil, and consciousness was the true landscape. Astral communication wasn't a science, it was a skill, a sacred art, a discipline that demanded stillness, purity of intent, and above all, humility before the unseen. So why did this knowledge fade? Part of the truth lies in fear. The Church, in its quest for order and orthodoxy, labeled such practices heretical, dangerous pacts with demons. Entire libraries of esoteric knowledge were destroyed or buried beneath cryptic symbols and metaphors to survive. The Inquisition, the burning of Alexandria, the silencing of the mysteries, all swept away voices that once taught communion with spirits not as horror but as harmony. Yet fragments endured, encoded in alchemical manuscripts, hidden in the margins of medieval grimoires, whispered in folk songs passed down from grandmother to granddaughter. The line was never broken, just buried. And now, in a time where technology saturates the senses and numbs the soul, more are beginning to hear again. The veil grows thin not because spirits are louder, but because we are finally still enough to listen. The question is no longer, can we communicate with them? It is, are we ready to understand what they've always been trying to say? To initiate astral communication, one must first understand a simple truth. You are not just a body that contains a soul. You are a soul, temporarily wearing a body. The first step is disidentification, unbinding your awareness from the senses that anchor you to the physical world. This is not detachment in the cold, modern sense. It's remembrance, a return to the part of you that already dwells in the unseen. Picture it like this. Your consciousness is like a candle in a dark room, but beyond that room is a vast night sky, a multidimensional world teeming with movement, intention, and intelligence. Spirits are the stars in that sky. But if the candle burns too bright, if you are too consumed by thought, distraction, and ego, you will never see them. To see spirits, you must dim the candle without extinguishing it. This is the art of stillness. This is where ancient mystics began with what we now call astral grounding. Forget Hollywood. This isn't about floating out of your body like a ghost. It's about anchoring your awareness in the threshold state, that twilight realm between waking and sleeping, between thought and silence, between breath and no breath. This is where the astral body becomes fluid, permeable, open. The Egyptians referred to this as Akhet, the horizon-the sacred moment when the sun rises or sets, when light and dark kiss. In that liminal space, the veil's thin. The Greeks called it hypnagogia. The Vedic sages called it Turiya. All cultures knew this threshold is the gate. And the gate is opened by vibration. Sound, frequency, rhythm. Chanting ancient syllables like Lam, Om, or Ka isn't just poetic tradition. These sounds resonate with subtle centers in the astral body, much like striking a tuning fork inside a cave. Each tone draws specific entities, specific planes. That's why mystics always whispered rather than shouted. Why their temples were built with sacred acoustics. Why they fasted, purified, and entered darkness, for silence amplifies the signal. Because in the astral, intention is magnetism. You don't call spirits with words. You call them with resonance, with the frequency of your thought emotion, focused like a beam. If your intention is pure, your reason for contact is not curiosity, but reverence, then the astral will listen, and something will stir. It begins as a shift in temperature, a subtle flicker in the corner of your vision, a distant chime when nothing physical moves. These are not hallucinations, they are ripples. Your signal has been received. But here is where most turn back, because the astral does not speak in language. It speaks in symbol, emotion, memory, archetype. You must learn to listen with more than ears. And above all, you must not fear the silence between messages. For silence is how spirits measure your readiness. Here lies a paradox. To connect with spirits, you must become less you. Not in essence, but in ego. The astral realm is not a mirror of the physical, it is a mirror of your state of consciousness. When you enter with fear, you see shadows. When you enter with arrogance, you meet silence. But when you enter with presence clear, calm, curious, what awaits can astonish. One of the most dangerous myths is this, that all spirits are either angelic guides or malicious demons. This is the duality trap, a remnant of religious indoctrination. In truth, the astral is far more nuanced. You may encounter residual echoes, fragmented energies of the dead who don't yet realize they've passed. You may meet thoughtforms, manifestations shaped by collective belief. And yes, some spirits are conscious, intelligent, evolved guides who have transcended incarnation and now assist others in their journey between worlds. But to classify them with human terms, good, evil, friendly, dangerous, misses the point. Think of them like frequencies on a radio dial. If you tune to static, don't blame the station. Change the channel, raise your resonance. This is where discernment becomes your compass. Not all spirits are meant to be spoken to, just as not all people are meant to be trusted. But the true mystic never seeks domination, never demands. They invite, they listen, they learn. A little-known practice from the Chaldean oracles taught that before any astral dialogue, the practitioner must perform a mirror ritual. They would gaze into still water or polished obsidian until their own face vanished. Only then, when identity dissolved, could truth be revealed. For in the astral, identity is distortion. Only when the self quiets does the spirit speak. You must also understand, time moves differently in that realm. A single whisper may take days to unfold in your dreams. A symbol may reveal its meaning years later. Patience is not optional, it is part of the initiation. And yes, the experience can be unsettling. You may awaken from a contact feeling as if something ancient brushed against your soul. You may see symbolsigiles you've never learned, yet instinctively recognize. You may hear a voice, not external, but deep within your own thoughts, answering a question you never spoke aloud. This is the echo effect, a ripple left by a true encounter. You'll know it not by fear, but by stillness. A sacred pause inside you, like the world just blinked. But remember, spirits do not care for spectacle. They come when the soul is ready, not the mind. So if nothing happens the first time, or the 10th good, you are not summoning tricks. You are developing a relationship, a spiritual ear. Because astral communication is not about crossing over. It's about meeting halfway between worlds, between lifetimes, between selves. And when that moment comes, when the contact is made, you will not need proof. You will feel it in your marrow. So, how do you begin? Not in a rush, not with expectation, but with ritual, with preparation, with devotion. Because astral communication is not about forcing a door open, it's about learning the subtle knock that tells the door you are worthy of entrance. Step 1. The preparation of the self. Before any spirit will engage, your inner resonance must match the frequency of the astral. This begins with cleansing both physical and energetic. Fast lightly for 12-24 hours before attempting contact. Avoid meat, processed foods, or anything that dulls the body. Clean your space with intention. Burn frankincense, palo santo, or white sagenat for theatrics, but to alter the vibratory field. Bathe in salt water or wash your hands in cool moon water. This signals purification not just of body, but of intention. Most importantly, ask yourself why. Why do you seek contact? To boast, to conquer fear, to glimpse mystery? Or to understand, to heal, to serve? Step 2. Entering the threshold state. The astral listens best during twilight hours just before dawn or after midnight. At these liminal moments, your consciousness is most malleable. Lie down in darkness or low candlelight, face upward, spine straight, hands on your chest or belly. Begin 4-count breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Repeat until the mind slows and the body feels weightless. Whisper a mantra or seed sound, like Om or Re, softly, rhythmically. Let the vibration melt into your bones. When thoughts arise, observe them like clouds passing, not grasped. Soon, you'll feel a shift. A pressure in the forehead. A sense of floating. A tingling behind the eyes or ears. Do not chase it, allow it. Step 3. The invitation. Once you enter this altered state, the invitation begins. Speak internally, with humility. To any presence of light, wisdom, or peace, I welcome you with honor. Speak only in truth, enter only in love. You may visualize a door, mirror, or staircase, see a symbolic entry point. These visual anchors help stabilize the journey. Keep your focus gentle but present. The moment you try to control the experience, you break the resonance. What follows may be silencer and unfolding. A symbol may appear in your mind's eye. A voice may answer a question you never consciously formed. Or you may dream that night with clarity unlike any other. Step 4. Integration. After any session, ground yourself. Eat something simple. Write down everything. Look for patterns in symbols, feelings, or fragments of language. Spirits rarely speak in full sentences. They speak in keys and it is your task to turn them. Be aware. When you begin this path, synchronicity increases. Numbers, dreams, birds, songs. The universe begins to whisper back. This is no coincidence. This is confirmation. Common pitfalls to avoid. Never attempt contact under fear, intoxication, or anger. Your signal becomes distorted and may attract chaos. Don't ask for proof, ask for presence. Don't rush. This is not a game. It is alchemy of the soul. Above all, respect the unseen. For it does not seek to impress you, it waits to transform you. And if done with patience and reverence, one day, you'll hear a voice in the silence. Not loud, not even a whisper, but something inside will still and say, I was heard. So now you stand at the edge of a vast and ancient sea, one foot in the known, the other trembling over the abyss of the unseen. This is not just knowledge. It is initiation, a quiet unlocking of the doorway that was always there, hidden between heartbeats, tucked inside dreams, waiting for you to remember. Astral communication is not about chasing spirits in the dark. It's about rekindling a dialogue that predates language itself. A conversation between soul and cosmos, between the drop and the ocean. You've learned the foundations. That true contact begins with silence. That resonance is more powerful than ritual. That the unseen does not bend to will, it opens to presence. And now, the rest is your path to walk. You may fail, you may doubt, you may wait for nights on end with no sign. But then, one eve perhaps when you least expect it, a symbol will appear. A voice will echo within, or a presence will step gently into the corner of your awareness. And in that moment, you'll realize that you were never alone, only disconnected. So ask yourself, not, what spirit do I seek? But rather, what truth within me do they reflect? Because in the end, the spirits don't give answers. They open mirrors. Subscribe to unlock deeper wisdom. Share this if you've ever felt the veil move. Your journey has only just begun.